This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll discuss about the possible business scenarios will come in the supplier process. So in the supplier process, the business scenarios at the two levels. One at the possible business scenarios at the master data level, and the second one is the possible business scenarios at the transaction data level. So in the supplier master data level, so what are the scenarios will come? Like creation of the suppliers, updation of the suppliers or the change of suppliers, view the suppliers. As part of updation of the suppliers, like updation of the suppliers logos, adding of some nodes, and placing the suppliers on hold, like remove the supplier on hold status, inactive the suppliers, creation of the supplier hierarchies. So generally, these are the possible business scenarios will come in the supplier master data processes. So in the actual projects, as a consultant, we have to prepare the test cases for all these processes and we have to do the testing. So in our training, so we will give them as assignments to the students. So during the weekend, they have to uh, prepare the test cases and do the testing for all these processes. Same like in the transactional process, supply transaction process, what are the business use cases will come, like a supplier invoice request, supplier invoice, or copy or modify the supplier invoice. Supplier invoice adjustment is nothing but debit memos or the credit memos. Creation of the supplier recurring invoice. So here the supplier invoice or the supplier recurring invoices. So okay. So these things we can do it through manual process, and or through EIBs also we can do it. We have the web service create supplier invoice or the create supplier recurring invoice. Okay, so we can do through EIBs as well. So this is also we have to prepare as a test cases and to do the testing during the projects. So we'll see about the what are the possible accounting entries in each supplier process while doing the invoice or the adjustment or the payment. So I forgot to mention this settlement run also one of the process in the supplier process, nothing but to make the supplier payment. Okay, so while doing the supplier business transactions, so these are the possible accounting entries will come. Okay, because why I'm telling is as a finance consultant we have to check it after posting of the transaction whether the correct entries are updated or not, because these entries, how the entries will update in workday through account posting rule set. So with the combination of the business dimensions based on the business requirement, we have to maintain the GL accounts so that system will take the correct GL account once you select the required business dimensions like spend categories for the expenses. Okay, so based on that, system will generate the accounting entries. Once you post the invoice and it approved, if the accounting entry is not generated, that means you are not maintained properly the account posting rule sets. Otherwise, the accounting entries will generate. So, as a finance consultant, we have to check it whether the accounting entry is generating or not, or the trial balance is updating or not. We have to check it. So, if you take the supplier invoice, the accounting entry, like based on the nature of expense you are taking, the see, I had put the generic naming conventions here, the actual business scenarios based on the business. Okay, the business or the decision, they will provide the list of GL accounts which they are going to use with the naming conventions with the account type details, so that we will put it. So I am putting the generic like expenses account data. If the taxes applicable like TDS and the transactional taxes VAT payable account data to the accounts payable account data to TDS payable. If you are posting the supplier invoice, if you are posting the supplier invoice adjustment, okay. So accounts payable account data, TDS payable account data to expenses to VAT payable. If you are making the supplier payment, accounts payable account data to the bank. Okay. Let's say if you are doing the historical balances conversion, at that time we have to migrate the supplier open invoices from the legacy system while doing the, okay, this is as part of migration projects or the implementation projects. We have to convert the legacy supplier open items as well. So at that time the accounting entry will be data takeover account data to the accounts payable. Here also again the naming, the GL naming conventions will be decided by the business team or the consultants. Like consultants will suggest it. If business want to use the same naming conventions, we can use it. Otherwise we can put the same the business suggested naming conventions for the GL accounts. So these are the things. So these are the possible business cases or the business use cases or the business scenarios will in the supplier process, and the accounting entries will come. So we always keep in mind that as a finance consultant, we have to check it accounting entries after posting of each business transaction, whether it is a supplier process or the customer process or the GL, anything like asset process, like anything. So okay, we have to check the accounting proper accounting entries are generating or not, because it will impact overall financial statements of the company. So we'll discuss in the next sessions with some other business processes.